Hello and welcome to my round review. It's going to be Fnatic versus DRX at Champions. This is the third round on Icebox. And I'm going to spoil real quick that Fnatic are going to win this round. It's their bonus round, and I want to see how they did it. So first thing to note is that they have 3 Vandals and have 2 Spectres, and also enough money to buy next round. So they're in a very comfortable position. They have a decent way to win this round, and they also have a bye next round. So they're in a very comfortable position in this game so far. They also only have 1 death. DRX only have 1 kill, so obviously. So the DRX are really getting destroyed at this point. Durka's 2 away from ult, so is Mystic. So Mystic, I think, was farming orbs. Or like, well, he's got 2 orbs from nowhere. Durka also has 1 orb from nowhere, I think. Yeah, so they've got an orb here or a plant there, and they've got 2 orbs, 2 plants there. Alfia also managed to get a plant or plant or orb, but that's kind of irrelevant for now. So the next thing we're going to look, so we're just going to carry with the round, play out the round. So the first thing that Fnatic are going to do is they are going to look for a main control. You see by Alfia for taking the first fight on Buzz. However, Buzz did not want to commit. Alfia was a bit more committal there. So the reason being is because Attack really want to take this area at the start, and sort of want to contest a bit of mid, and they don't want to they don't need to fully take it unless they send numbers. But the reason being is because A main and mid are a lot more important to take than B main, and you can see that they just have Boaster there, just making sure that no one can push through. They're not really controlling it, but just making sure no one can get through here like this. They also do have a trap there as well to make sure. They also sent the Viper wall already, so that should actually tell DRX what their plan is. So it's it's very weird that actually they stayed with 2 players here, in my opinion. They probably should have been only moving Zest a bit more close to mid over here, because he's still playing Sova, right? So you can still send darts across from screens. So I think it's very weird that he's playing up this far, unless he is getting the orb. I might have to check if he wants to get the orb or not. He is already at 4 orb points, which means he's probably got 2 already, because I think he's only got 2 deaths and no kills. So I think he has been farming orbs, or at least trying. So I've already gone over the reasons why they want to take A main, because I haven't gone over those reasons. Sorry, I got sidetracked. So the reason why they take A main and the reason why they take mid is because taking these 2 areas are the 2 most impactful areas on the map for Attack. So the reason being is because it's a lot easier to go through mid to B like this than it is to go through A through mid like this, right? So ideally you want to be able to take mid and you want to be able to take A, so then you can basically have your options open, and they don't know which site you're actually going to go to. Because if you take B main, it's very obvious where you actually are going to go. Especially if you don't take mid as well. So if you do B main and mid, then they actually have free reign of A main, which means that they also have fast flanks on you and fast flanks on mid, as opposed to B main, which is actually a lot longer to get anything from mid and to get to A. It's a bit better just to take A main most of the time, because of this, right? It's basically means you have less options in B main. Essentially, it's not the reason there, but it's the simpler way to say what I'm saying. Is that you have less options in B main, so taking B main isn't the best compared to A main and mid. So we're going to let the round to play it a bit longer. There's not very much that goes on in this round at the start. So I will quickly just do some 5-second increments. You can see that Durka has managed to just sort of place a TP here at the start, and it's very important to keep an eye on this TP. And now he's playing further back because he knows that his team is going to now decide to rotate to B. So in my opinion, once I see this wall, it's very, like I said, it's very weird that Zest did not go over. However, just because the presence Buzz saw, he saw Alpha here, so maybe they thought that they are going to try and fake with the wall. And I'm obviously not sure. I'm not actually sure. Maybe this was done in scrims, or maybe this was done in previous games. I actually don't remember where they faked the wall. If so, it's a lot smarter than it looks right now. So we will see what goes on next. So they have sent a full 5-man into B, but this is going to change very, very soon. Okay, so you can see at this point that Durka TP'd. to mid. On mid, so he's mid now. So, and you can see that Zest is still mid, and you can see that Buzz is very, very far away. At this point, which is very crazy to me that he's still there, honestly. But he might be trying to catch a rotation or catch like a lurk or something. Because I think Durka has actually been completely unknown to this point. Until he's about to get a kill on RB. So at this point, you can see RB is dead. About to die. He dies. To Durka on top of Tube. And the way he plays it now is very, very important to the round. And the reason why, honestly, they won the round is because of Durka's play here. So he gets one kill, and you can see him playing very defensively now. Because if he was then to go and trade, or like, not trade, but try and fight some other angles, even mid, or even like try and peek at this part of mid, there's a good chance he can die. So what he does is he waits for them to try and clear this area first. And this does two things. It keeps him safe for until he's at a decent angle to fight, because the rest of the angles you open up yourself up to a lot of different places. But where he's sitting there, he's only open to one angle unless someone flanks him. And the other thing is that if someone does try and clear him, then he's got that information, and if they don't, they don't, right? Then he's got that information. He understands where they are, or like where they can come from for his team, right? So it looks like at this point no one's gonna come and clear him. So he starts to make the decision that he's gonna peek again. He probably gets mainly the information to do this off Zest running in kitchen, thinking that they're gonna try and ignore him, because he knows that there's two players for sure next to B that have shown their presence, and then there's a third player running here, so it's very unlikely that a single player is going to come and try and contest his position now. Obviously it can still happen, but he thinks to himself it's probably very unlikely that there's going to be someone else. So one person coming to fight me. And as you can see, that they're just they've already planted. Fnatic have now planted, and they're going to play post plant with lineups. And then you can see that the wall goes up very soon. And he times it to when they're executing onto site. And he manages to get a kill onto Stacks. Doesn't quite get the kill on Buzz, because Buzz dashes into his own smoke over here. And to go to yellow. And you can see Boaster makes an interesting play as well. He shoots the dart that actually does get a scan off on him. And instead of... I think it's actually pretty crazy what he does, because he goes behind a wall that's spammable. But for some reason, Zest is preoccupied with Durka over here, and ends up swinging him because of this wall. And because of this, because of the Viper wall, he takes a very, very bad angle. He's very, very close to the wall, and therefore he gets absolutely destroyed by Durka from mid. Even though, like, if he was just a bit more patient, he probably could have got a spam onto Boaster and made this a bit less close. Sorry, another piece of pen. Alfio has also joined Durka by coming around, which is very, like, they wouldn't expect two players to now be here after what's been happening. However, that doesn't end up mattering, as Buzz doesn't get the kill. Buzz whiffs on Enzo. And as you can see, both actually made it all the way around to Buzz's original jet smoke to dash in, which was where Mako was going, and actually gets a kill on Mako, and therefore it's a flawless round for Fnatic. So I think overall, like, the biggest part of this to take away is that you can win rounds off of one person's pressure with a Vandal on a third round. And you just need to understand, like, what your limits are and how to create pressure, right? Dirk had a very good understanding of, like, what to do and how to create pressure, right? He found one kill, and his presence was made known. However, I'm not sure if RB, RB didn't know exactly where he got shot from, right? So they weren't even sure if he was still on top or if he was at the bottom, right? And that really helped him as well. But they just felt they didn't want to clear that again. Because he could still be standing here, but they may have felt like he ran all the way around, or that he's maybe still in here, but they just didn't have the time to clear him as Fnatic started planting. Even though they probably did have enough time to clear mid, they didn't bother. Zest actually making a statement when going up tube. I think they did think he was on the ground, because Zest is now walking up tube to try and catch him on a timing, maybe trying to walk up tube. But yeah, it ended up not working out for DRX, and you can see him just staying still. He's just generating his own pressure in mid, making sure they can't actually use this space. Otherwise, they might die. And you can see that Stacks actually checked mid again, so they clearly didn't know who was on top. So therefore, they thought that they were completely fine to then push this until he obviously pops out and gets a kill on Stacks. Very honestly, that was very unfortunate because he did have his wall out, so he's ready to wall this. So Durka got a really good timing there. And basically solo won the round for Fnatic here, I think. If you enjoyed watching it, then give it a like and subscribe for more content.